Is the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra actually a masterpiece, or is it just the world's most expensive piece of damage control? With the launch only 2 weeks away, the leaks are flooding in, and they paint a picture of a phone that is trying very hard to distract you from the truth. Samsung's marketing team is shouting about a massive aperture upgrade, hoping you won't notice that the new camera is actually using a sensor from 4 years ago. It feels like Samsung is trying to outrun the laws of physics with a wider lens while the competition is simply building bigger engines. If you are an enthusiast who cares about what is actually inside your device, you need to hear this before you drop $1,300. This phone is a mix of brilliant processing power and frustrating hardware shortcuts that might make you think twice before upgrading. The biggest talking point this year is the 200-megapixel main camera. On the box, it looks impressive. But here is the reality: it is the exact same ISISel HP2 sensor we have seen since the S23 Ultra. To make it feel new, Samsung bumped the aperture from f1.7 to f1.4. In theory, this means more light and better background blur. In reality, shoving a wider lens onto the same old sensor often leads to distortion at the edges of your photos. It feels like polishing a 3-year-old mirror while Chinese flagships are moving to massive 1-inch sensors that leave Samsung in the dust. You can only optimize old hardware so much before the physical size of the sensor becomes a bottleneck that software cannot fix. This isn't innovation, it's a coat of paint on a classic car. It gets worse when you look at the 3x telephoto lens. Reports suggest a literal hardware downgrade. The sensor size is shrinking from a 13.2-inch to a tiny the 1st of March, 94-inch. That is the same sensor found in the Z Flip 7. Putting a flip sensor in a $1,300 Ultra phone is almost insulting. If you try to take a portrait shot in anything but perfect sunlight, expect your photos to look like blurry oil paintings. Even the 5x periscope lens is only getting a small band-aid fix with a slightly better aperture. It feels like Samsung is coasting, betting that most people will just see the 200MP sticker and stop asking questions. They are counting on the brand name to carry the weight while the actual camera components are getting smaller and cheaper to save on production costs. Because the hardware is stagnating, Samsung is pivoting hard to software and AI, the Apple approach. They are finally introducing a 24-megapixel default shooting mode. This is the sweet spot for detail without destroying your storage space. Right now, you have to choose between 12-megapixel shots that are too soft or 50-megapixel files that are too huge. However, there is a catch. Since the S24 and S25 use the same sensor, this could easily be a software update for older phones. Instead, Samsung will likely gatekeep it as an S26 exclusive feature to force an upgrade. This is classic planned obsolescence. They want you to pay for a feature that your current phone is already capable of handling if they just pushed the update. For the video creators, there is a new codec called APV, or Advanced Professional Video. It is designed to rival Apple's ProRes with 12-bit color and better efficiency. While DaVinci Resolve already supports it, most users will still just be posting compressed clips to Instagram. It is a pro feature for people who likely won't use it, but it sounds great in a commercial. Then we have the build quality, which is taking a strange turn. Rumors say Samsung is ditching titanium and going back to aluminum. They claim it helps cool down the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chip, which runs incredibly hot at 4.6 GHz. But let's be honest, aluminum is cheaper to manufacture. After chasing Apple into titanium last year, they are retreating to space-grade aluminum to save money and manage heat. It feels like a premium identity crisis. The design itself is changing slightly to address long-standing complaints about comfort. The corners are more rounded now, which is a huge relief. The S24 Ultra was basically a sharp brick that stabbed your palms after 10 minutes of use. The new ergonomics make it much more comfortable to hold for long periods. However, the camera island now looks like individual rings stuck onto a raised plateau, which is a bit messy. Even the S Pen feels like an afterthought. You get 6 beautiful phone colors, like the new cobalt purple, but the S Pen only comes in black or white. It is a small detail, but it shows where the effort is lacking. They are also adding scam detection AI for calls, But that is just a rebranded Google feature you can get on many other devices for free. The reality of the S26 Ultra is that it is a fix-it year. It fixes the sharp corners, it adds a new video codec, and it introduces a more efficient charging path. But the core hardware, the stuff that actually costs Samsung money to innovate, is largely stagnant or being cut back. They are relying entirely on the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip to do the heavy lifting. That chip is a beast, but putting it in a chassis that is being downgraded from titanium to aluminum feels like a step backward for a flagship. If you are using an S24 or S25 Ultra, there is absolutely no reason to upgrade. Your current phone is still top tier and performs nearly as well. If you are coming from an older device like the S21 or S22, the jump in efficiency and speed will feel like magic. But for the tech enthusiasts who want the absolute best, this is a year to wait for the S27. Samsung is playing it safe and hoping the 200-megapixel branding will carry them through another sales cycle. My honest opinion is that the S26 Ultra is a polished, reliable device, but it lacks the wow factor we expect from the Ultra line. It feels more like an S25 than a brand new generation. I'm not buying the hype this time, and you should think carefully about whether these minor software tweaks are worth your hard-earned money. Samsung is betting that you won't dig past the surface, but the specs don't lie. This is a year of refinement and cost-cutting disguised as a revolution. While the new cobalt purple looks stunning and the screen will undoubtedly be the best in the business, the heart of the phone, the camera hardware, is showing its age. If you want a phone that pushes boundaries, you might want to look at what the competition is doing with large format sensors. But if you just want a reliable Samsung with better curves, the S26 is here for you. Just don't expect a camera revolution. If you like the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on the tech you actually care about. Would you like me to compare these leaked specs with the latest Pixel or iPhone models to see who is actually winning the hardware war?